Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live with Blaine J, your weekly connection to people, brands, and businesses. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, before I bring on tonight's guest, I just want to kind of clarify the confusion of how you can watch these lives. So when I first started doing the lives a couple months ago, I was strictly on Instagram, and my Instagram is Blaine_J, BLAYNE_J. What I did maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago is move my platform over to Real-ish Radio. So you can still watch and participate live. In order to do so, you can go on YouTube, type in Real-ish Radio, Facebook. You can also listen to the podcast on most streaming platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Apple. So the easiest and best way to do it moving forward is there is a link tree in my bio, and you can click on the app, you can click on the Facebook and the YouTube page to watch. You can also go to Real-ish Radio's Instagram, which is at Real-ish Radio, and there is a link tree there as well to watch live. So if you have any questions, just DM me, but those are the ways that you can still watch, participate, and there will always be a replay available. There'll be a preview on my Instagram page, and the full replay will be on YouTube and Facebook. So I hope that clears it up, but anybody that has questions, definitely let me know. So thank you again for joining us. And as you know, March is Women's History Month. So all this month, I've been having some amazing female guests on. I'm going to be having 2 lives this week. Stay tuned for more information. Keep your notifications locked to Real-ish Radio and check my Instagram and Real-ish Radio Instagram page. But today we have Kia Perry. She is the creator of Ancestral Whisper, which is a wellness platform. And there's so many other components to her wellness platform. So I'm going to have her come on and explain exactly what she does right now. Hi, Kia.
I love that introduction. Yes.
I know there's so much more to it, so I'm going to let you explain. So for those of you, some of you know, some of you don't know, but Kia and I know each other from high school.
We graduated last year.
We just graduated from Bishop Ford High School in Brooklyn. I see that our fellow classmate, Christine Germain, is on. Thank you so much, Christine, for supporting and tuning in. So Kia and I know each other from high school. And then a couple years ago, we bumped into each other in Manhattan. I was cutting through Bryant Park, and she was cutting through Bryant Park, if you're familiar with Manhattan. And we were like, oh my gosh, what's up? I haven't seen you since forever. And Kia was on her way to a production or a filming or something, and we got into a real good conversation and have kind of kept in touch since then. So before we get into Ancestral Whisper, let's kind of start with when I bumped into you, because this kind of came about when you were on your day job, your career job, which was production. So can you tell me what you were doing? Because I don't remember at this point.
You know, I love a good story. So once upon a time,
there was a girl named Kia.
Right. No, I think I was actually meeting a writer to go over a script or something. You know, that thing where you meet somebody, have coffee and talk about what's next. So I definitely was doing something with production with that. And I talked to you. We talked for a long time. We just talked about life in general. And moving forward from that, that's really what it is. It's like we work in these careers and we forget about those present moments. And sometimes you could just find yourself in the present reflecting. That's what we were doing. We were reflecting about years and what we're doing now.
Catching up.
A lot of catching up, right? So yeah, we did bump into each other. Like I said, I was meeting someone with coffee for a script, and you know, we caught up and like, look at us.
We caught up. Right. But so since then, what exactly were you doing with production? You were working on movie sets, you traveled with movies, you've had your hand in a couple of different projects.
I think at that time I was an assistant to an actress, and I think we were talking about a project for me to produce. So yeah, so it was another transition of producing the next project, directing the next project, and moving forward. So I'm a filmmaker. That's the title that I have as a filmmaker. Produced some things, directed some things. I love behind the scenes. So a lot of the stuff I do on the journey is usually behind the scenes, working in that realm of things. On sets, behind sets, but definitely producing, directing. And so writing. I do have to say writing. People will be like, but you write. Yes, I do.
You write your own stuff. You write your own stuff. You produce it. You direct it. You do it all. You're
a filmmaker, because I'm really a storyteller. At the end of the day, that's really what it is: being creative and just telling the story. And that's how we got to Ancestral Whisper. It's still more.
So tell us more about that, because so you were on your day job, and then this whole concept for Ancestral Whisper came up. So let's go into that.
So the platform itself is new, but I've always been in touch with my ancestors. So this is pretty much a homage to my grandmothers. So Ancestral Whisper, the platform, started in 2019, but really launched in the pandemic in 2020. But prior to that, I always gave homage, my prayers. I just include my ancestors whenever I do my daily dose, right? With that being said, being in the production world, we find ourselves being very stressed or overwhelmed, or everything just moves so fast that I had to find, what does taking a minute, pausing, and taking a breath look like? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, moving forward, I launched a wellness platform dealing with like healing of self and healing yourself, because that's what I had to do, right? As busy as the entertainment industry is, you usually have to find a moment for yourself, because you're so caught up in the mix of everything and you forget about yourself. So a lot of the people I work with, and me personally, after every movie, after every commercial, anything that I do dealing with that, I had to find my self-care. Whether it's that going to the spa, going to the beach, going on a retreat, going on a hike, something that connected me back to myself, because, Hollywood is a fantasy. So we're living in that. And to quiet that, I had to find out what to do with that. So the sale of that, a lot of my products that I have with Ancestral Whisper does a lot of aromatherapy. So it just keeps us grounded, remind us to stay present, remind us to take deep breaths. So yeah, I know you're going to ask me a question I have to answer. I'm going to finish that.
No, I just
on a tangent. You gotta put me back. You gotta put me back, Blaine.
No, you're fine. I'm listening to what you're saying, because we've spoken about your products, but then this is, more information than I knew. And I want to go back to what you said. You said you kind of start your day with affirmations sort of from your ancestors. What exactly is that? Is that prayer, or is that just like thanking the people that came before you for helping you be where you are today?
Yes. Well, for me, yes. For me, I do a lot of affirmations. I do a lot of I am affirmations, but I like to honor my ancestors. I always bring up the ones that, started this before I even got here. I have a recent ancestors. My dad, I lost him in 2019. So he is what followed up to the naming of Ancestral Whisper. So with that, it's just, I have so many stories from my grandmother. I have so many history lessons from them that I just installed in me now. When I was younger, I would be like, I don't want to drink that. That's nasty. That tea. Why does it smell funny in here? All these things I laughed at them about. Here I am having all the herbs. I got all the vegetables, and like just hearing them in my head. That's the whisper when I'm cooking or when I'm making teas, or if I feel like I'm coming down with a cold, I know where to go. I know what my medicine cabinet looks like. My medicine cabinet is my kitchen. So a lot of times, I know what to use outside of the pharmacy to heal myself. And now that wasn't overnight. So the only way I got here is to have to hit rock bottom, heal myself, meet so many amazing people on the journey to get where I am today. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physician. I'm not a therapist. I don't have any certifications. But the amazing part is I meet so many people on the journey, and I know so many amazing people that have all of that. So I'm pretty much a producer in the holistic world, where I can, show you the right direction to go to when you're on your journey. That's probably the best way to put it.
But that's really crucial. Yeah, no, that's really crucial, because when you're making your products, and I want you to talk a little bit about the type of products that you have, but it sounds like when you're making the products, you want people to really like feel something. You want them to smell something that reminds them of maybe a great memory or someone who has helped them along the way. So what are some of the products that you offer?
Like all of my products do start with intention. And I'm a moon child, so I love to create my products during a new moon or a full moon, and I set intentions that go within my products. Like I have them next to me. Like this one I have is Present. It's a fan favorite. So with present, it gives you the name itself, right?
Show it. I can't see. Show, put it out. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look. Got
Yay!
it.
So present is the name in itself. You know what I mean? So it's to ground you, to keep you present. I spray this one. It has the lavender, the sage, and it also has a little vanilla in it. So sometimes it just reminds you to stay calm. Those are more of the calming herbs. So like the intention for this one is grounding. So I set that under my new moon, and I set the intention for that. So a lot of people like this one because a lot of people love lavender, and it does help calming you, and it does help sleep as well. You can spray it on your pillow, on your linen to calm. Children love it, especially before bedtime. I have a friend who they're like, my daughter's like, mommy, it's bedtime. Where's my present? And I was like, you know, that's the real intention when you get the testimony from people and how they, you know, receive your product.
Lavender is very calming. It is calming.
I'm a peppermint girl, though, to be honest with you. And most people who know me, if they're on here, they they will know I walk with peppermint everywhere I go because that is what I found to be my niche. Like on production, for sure. Like I've had people, they be like, "What is that peppermint smell?" And I'd be like, "You want some?"
Is it a spray? Is it in your hair? Where is it?
So I don't have a line for that one because I'm a little selfish and that's my go-to. But I do have Bliss, which is one of my oils. This is one of my more peppermint spearmint types of oil. But for me, I just use just peppermint oil. But Bliss is a good one for refreshing after the shower, after bath, because of the mint. It just opens you up in that realm. So with my oils, they're all based with almond oil. And this one is Bliss. So of course the name again has the intention of what you'll feel like after taking a hot bath or a hot shower. And then you put this on, go to bed, or even leave your house. It stays in your pores longer and it reminds you to breathe. That is the purpose of all my products, is to remind you to take a deep breath. Because we forget, especially in the film industry. We move so much. And then when we hear it's wrap is when we go, and then here comes the ulcers, here comes the headaches, here comes all of that. So a lot of my products is to remind you to breathe. And it came at the right time during this whole pandemonium that we went through. We're under these masks all day. You know what I mean? So you want to have a reminder to take a deep breath even while you're in situations that we're in right now. So you can add them in humidifiers, diffusers. I love them on the retreats that I do, or whenever I go to yoga class, I have aromatherapy. It's a real thing. It's a therapy in itself. And when you smell something, it just allows your other senses to enhance.
Christine said, come on, hook us up.
Hey,
no,
Christine.
Christine said, come on, hook us up with the mint, with the peppermint.
Nah, because listen, I'm gonna show you a little secret. I'll be doing that all day.
You walk around sniffing peppermint. That's better than some other stuff, and that's a good smell. So that's all right. That's okay.
But it's my blankie, as people would say. It's my blankie. Everybody has their thing, and even on the healing journey, like my journey is not for everybody. But find out what works for you. And that's why I have different products, because some people might not like Release. Some people like Awaken. It's find out what works for you. Find out what health matters work for you. Find out what, challenges. People don't like therapy. Find a good therapist. Just don't get rid of something because of our generational fear. That's another thing that taps into ancestral, right? We have these generational patterns, these generational things that we have to allow the next generation to move forward, right? So I tap back into what I know my family has history of healing through herbs and through sun and through movement versus having to be on so many medications to get through things. And the reason how I found out all of this is I got diagnosed with an autoimmune deficiency, and I was not trying to hear what they had to say. That was just the Pisces in me being like, nope. But I also couldn't be stubborn to hurt myself. You know what I mean? So I had to find ways to grow. And on that journey, you run into people, you run into places, you run into things that allow that inner higher self to actually communicate. You know what I mean? So it's like finding what works for you. Because, back in high school,
it was different times.
And, I didn't know how to embrace certain emotions and feelings and things like that. So, you know, you might have fights or you get yelled or you want to leave. And I learn now what works. So I don't want to put our age out there, but I'm not.
We're still cute. It doesn't matter. We're still cute. We're
right.
That's all that matters.
But I wish I had a me at 18. You know what I mean? So it's just working on finding out your higher self, what works for you, who you're becoming. A lot of us get anxiety because we're resisting who we really are to become. BLAYNE, I will sit here and talk all day. What are we here for?
What you're saying, what you're saying makes sense, and it actually, you're fine. What it actually goes into is the second part of what you do. So you have your production work, you have Ancestral Whisper, and then you also do what you said, a lot of mindful meditations, you lead retreats, you do yoga. So I want to go into that because that's also part of your brand and your business, but it's something that that my mom actually discovered because Kia just so happened to be on a Zoom that my mother and some other people from her Brooklyn Links organization was on, and you led them through so many great games and activities. They didn't have to do much. They were just like going with everything you said. So I want you to talk a little bit more about the retreats that you do, the yoga, the mindfulness, because that really falls in line with your brand.
First off, shout out to your mom. She's super sweet.
She was like, your friend was on there. I'm like, I know, I told her.
So again, for me, you know, I always go back to production. I have a really good mentor who during production would just, you know, push me in a sense of like allowing me to be present. She always used to say like, you know, working in this business, you'll eat tuna fish, then you eat lobster, you eat tuna fish again. So the main thing is to be humble. You know what I mean? To be kind and have compassion. And that's the thing that we forget to do as humans, right? So like I work on these sets with people who got a lot of money or whatever. And sometimes you just be like, you don't have to be an ugly human. Like you don't have to. And you don't know me. I'm from Brooklyn. Like I'll punch you now.
Right.
But to say all of that, I learned more about the human connection and compassion working on these sets. You realize that it can be an A-list actor. They still, can I curse on this?
It's like, yeah, go ahead.
They still shit like we do. So it's not, you know, I learned how to look at people as individuals and not give like titles of these structural things that we have. And I was fortunate enough to go on a healing retreat when I was on my verge to healing myself. Black girl from Brooklyn in the mountains, full of people that don't look like me, don't talk like me, and don't eat like me, right? But I knew I was there for a purpose, and the purpose was to heal. So I had to dig deep inside of myself and be like, this is new for you, but this is also going to help you. So I did like this 10-day journey, like basically in the woods, at the beach. It was just very holistic in a sense. And it just opened my eyes up to a lot of things that I was closed-minded to. But it also reminded me, again, going back to my grandmothers, of things that they did or talked about that they went through. And I have to allow people to know it's not about just eating right. Health is just not eating right. When you're eating, you also have to tune into your mind, body, and spirit. At the end of the day, you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna be vegan, I'm gonna be great, and then you got issues with your mind or you want to kill people. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't correlate together. So you have to find out ways to incorporate that as well. So I go back again before I start rambling. I got back into tune with nature and just understanding what that looked like. And the fast pace of life, I didn't want that. I didn't want that. After you get a touch of healing and after you get a touch of like calmness and like sitting at a lake and actually being still, that's the drug. That's the drug. You're always trying to find. You're always trying to be connected. You know, at first, the first time I heard quiet, I don't know if my friend is on here, but I went to Joshua Tree and it was the most quiet. Like I heard absolutely nothing. And at the moment of stillness, I saw a shooting star. Like those are moments to me that I chase, and everybody can't do that. And I understand that. So what I like to incorporate to a lot of my friends, my good girlfriends, we used to hang out club together, all of that. When they have questions about what to do or how do I heal, you know, I have to share with them that you have to dig deep and do things that you don't want to. shadow work. You got to eat things you don't like. You got to hear things you don't want to hear. But that's the only way to tap into you. So a lot of my retreats that I host, I have tons of yogis that I'm around. I have tons of meditative people I'm around, people that actually have the certification for holistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring them to my retreats because a lot of the people that I find myself to be around, they think that yoga is for white people. They think that becoming vegan is for white people. They think all these things that heal us is for white people when it started where? In our motherland.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at the pyramids, like a lot of the hieroglyphics, they're doing yoga poses. So I cringe when I hear my people say that's not for us. You know what I mean? When we have the largest amount of dais in our community. So, I mean, I say disease, but sometimes it's dis-ease. It is not really that, disease, but it's a lot of ways to
A lot of ailments
when it comes to our community. So, a lot of my retreats are people who just want to learn. I don't have any levels to any of this because I'm also learning every time I'm there, and I love to talk because a lot of things we don't do is talk. When we were kids, what did we hear? Shut up, get out of grown folks' business. Go sit over there. You don't know. You don't understand. We were kids, so we understood something. So I try to bring people around that, want to communicate so they won't feel uncomfortable when they do want to heal. They won't feel uncomfortable if they're in their first yoga class. They won't feel uncomfortable if they eat their first vegan meal. They don't feel uncomfortable if they tell the doctor, I don't want to take that medicine. I'm going to try this tea. You know what I mean? It's ways for us to do. Yeah.
And they're responsive when you tell them this, because you have to kind of sell people. I feel like if you tell me this, I'm more than likely gonna try it because it's coming from you. But if a doctor's telling me some stuff, I may be like, are you sure you just want my prescription money? You just want this. So coming from you, I would receive it more. Do you find that your audience is a little more receptive when you kind of introduce this into their life and really try to help them transform?
Yeah, because a lot of it is people that I surround myself with. And it's me. Like, I'm not, I know a lot of people, I do weird some people out when I say namaste and things like that, but I'm also me. Like, you're going to get me. You know what I mean? I do yoga in the summertime at the beach with my good friend, Zakia. She's a yogi. She's certified. She got all the certifications and all of that. She's good. And we go every Sunday in the summertime, and we allow women to, and we're going to do men this year, but we allow women to just come and just be themselves. You're by the water, so you're embracing the yimiya of it all, and we just have a circle. We talk about things. I like to do workshops where you write things down, because a lot of us don't tap into those moments of when we were younger and we had journals, or some of us wrote poetry. We don't tap into that anymore. Like, a lot of things we escape because something happened along the journey. So I just try to incorporate that back in. You know what I mean? A lot of women I know have issues with the womb. We up there now in age, things are different. A lot of people I know have high blood pressure. A lot of people I know have had these disorders, and they don't have nobody to talk to about it. You know what I mean? People shun them out. Their relationships get shunned out. So it's just just to open up your third eye and just be able to heal. Like, I'm just big on people loving themselves again, and me included. Like, every time I think I healed one part of me, here come the next thing. Here come the next thing. Because healing is a continuous journey. And until we exit, like, we're gonna always be healing something else, a part of us. So why not spray some ancestral whisper around just to lighten the load? Or why not hang out with your good girlfriend and just allow them to talk? Why don't you know what I mean? Why don't we try something new for the first time? Why don't we, instead of saying I ain't gonna do that, try it and see if you like it? Why don't we speak to our parents better? Why don't we communicate with our children more? Like, these are things that a lot of us want to do, but don't get the outlet to do it. And social media is a way, but it's like, I'm an in-person type of person. I'd rather be in person. I know a lot of my friends be like, call me back, do this, but I want to be there with you. That's just me.
So, and when they come, that's right. And that's why when they come to your platform, you want them to get all this. You want them to get the aromatherapy. You want them to get the feel good vibes so they can come to Ancestral Whisper. And you offer these retreats on your platform, or do you kind of more so give them tips and advice on how they can get into this different lifestyle?
Well, now that I have the whole social media, this is all new for me as well, the social media thing. So now that I have the social media platform, a lot of the events that I've done was word of mouth. You know, and like in your group chats and, you know, your close friends. I've done some retreats out of town before all of this started happening. And like I said, we were able to do the yoga last year at the beach, and the year before. So that would be 2 years. So yes, to answer your question, I will be posting them on my my social media now. The last one I did with teenagers, a lot of people were like, why didn't I know about this? I was asked to host an event. So it wasn't per se my event, but Ancestral Whisper hosted it. So I was there. And it was amazing, though, to talk to the kids, because it allowed me to tap back into my 16, 17-year-old kid. And Lord, I needed to hug that baby.
You know, it's so crazy. It's like, I know we talk about that we're getting up in age and stuff. And there's some stuff, like if you ask me what I did yesterday, I'm like, I don't know. But you want to ask me something that happened in high school or even a couple years ago, and I can tell you blow by blow, like, this is what happened. This is what I did. So like reminiscing on what we wish we knew then and the person that we were then versus now, you know, you almost do want to give yourself a hug, but I think it's good that we're in tune with it, because there's another generation coming up under us and under them that can benefit from knowing this information and benefit from knowing deep breathing techniques, eating well, the power of aromatherapy, the power of like having sage infused, you know, smells in your house, the power of talking, because, you know, like you said, a lot of parents don't talk to their kids, or they say what my mom used to say: I'm not one of your little friends. You think I'm your friend? I'm not your friend. And so she's still, you know, it's like, I don't know if we're friends, but it's a little bit different now. So kind of like putting that in their lives early is important, and honoring their ancestors, honoring the people that came before you, and being aware that hopefully your mother, your grandmother, and uncle and aunt paved the way for you to be here.
Keeping those stories alive.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate to have sets of grandparents that have, I mean, we all have a story, but that could remember or wasn't afraid to talk about it or wasn't ashamed to talk about it. That's another thing too. A lot of people didn't speak because they was ashamed. Mm-hmm. And to go back to the kids that we just talked about, when we talk about ancestors, one of the teenagers that was at the last event I did, she was rocking a Tupac sweatshirt. She was 17. She had on Tupac, and she was paired with me. And it's funny how the universe works, because I think I'm Tupac's #1 fan. So to see her and see that, it just took me back to the place where when I was 16, he died. And I was like, it was just such a euphoric moment to have. But when we wear Malcolm and Martin on our t-shirts, and like not understanding that we're honoring certain people, mm-hmm. and like when you call upon certain things can happen. So I just say the power of word is very powerful. Honoring people around you that may have had some good structure in your life is very powerful. And I tell people also, because people are like, I need sage to get rid of this negative. Stop. For all the people who are out there who just be like, I need sage to get rid of, you have to be very gentle, because sage is just a perfume if you're not fixing the stuff that you need to heal. It's all about healing.
So it's doing the sage, but then also, because I've heard people say that they're like, I have to sage my house because somebody was in here and they left a bad energy, and like I need to sage. So what are you saying, like taking the sage and actually having the right thoughts and intentions behind what you're cleansing, or just do we forget the sage altogether?
No. Yes, sage works. Yes, but like you just said, yes, having the good intention with it, opening your windows in your space. Let's be very clear. You don't want to just have sage and close everything, because then nothing's like circulating. But that's not the only healing tool. So when you burn that, you must burn something else to bring back in the good. But to say all of that, still forget the tools. Work on self first. Because a lot of us do these things and we'll go to these spas and we come home and we're back into the same element. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Hence myself as well. Like I have a tendency to put so much on my plate that when I get aggravated or have an attitude, it's because I did it. Like I could have said no.
Mm-hmm.
No is a sentence in itself. You know what I mean? So just knowing that about yourself, learning about yourself, I tell everyone, it's not easy, and that's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part. It's not easy. It's not easy.
And we're still
but
learning. We're still learning.
We're still learning. So a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times with the retreats I do, I call it heal and chill because again, I'm not certified to do any healing work, but that's where the chill comes in at. You know what I mean? Just girl talk or sister circles, like all of those things are processes. You know what I mean? Of taking the journey to do certain things. I'm a people's person, but then I'm also a loner. Like it's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I get
you know.
that.
So it's I love going on hikes and meeting new people because for me it's just a journey. Even meeting you in school. I transferred so many times in my life. I was always the new girl. So the personality came with having to fit in. Like I was gonna be, I knew I was gonna be new somewhere sooner or later because that was just the journey of me going to all these schools. It allowed me to meet so many amazing people in being in the film business. I was a freelancer. So I worked on tons and tons of sets meeting new people. So it's all about networking and not putting the stigma too much of like, I don't like this or I don't like that. Because again, when you put that out there, that's what you're going to receive.
Mm-hmm.
So I try not to put that out when it comes to meeting new people or going on certain retreats because that's not what you're going there for, right?
It's you're absolutely right, and it's hard sometimes because I know, like I maybe talked about it on a previous live, but last year around this time, like I had been laid off from my job. I was there for a long time. I had like all these life events happening, and it prompted me later, months later, to kind of start doing these lives because as much as I wanted to be creative and I wanted to like get into something great, I just didn't have the motivation. And I kept telling myself, like, I can't do this. Why should you do this? You can't. And I didn't do anything because I kept telling myself I couldn't. And it was really watching other people on Instagram who were creating their brands and businesses during this pandemic, during rough times in their life. They were losing loved ones, they were losing jobs, they were having all these issues, and they were still able to take their brand and create something, or take their business and create it. And that was like motivating for me because I didn't have the motivation within myself to push myself, because I was like dwelling, and every day I would get up. And I believe I said it in a previous live, I would like repeat this negative mantra. And I started like, as nice and as personable as I think I am, on the inside, I was just like repeating. I was like, you don't have a job, this, that. And once I started changing that, things happened. Things started happening. Once I started almost breathing life back into myself, things just started falling into place. So I wholeheartedly connect and agree with what you're saying, how we have to kind of like breathe life into ourselves and say these positive words because it changes everything.
It's the noise. We have patterns of conversations that developed in childhood that we be like, oh, we grown, but you still have these, oh, I shouldn't do that words that sometimes, oh, I should say I. Let me stop saying we. That it'll come up and you be like, why do I feel this way? I know I'm great. Well, why is this saying I'm not? You know what I mean? It's us sometimes. Most of the times it's us. We have to learn how to quiet the noise. And it's not, we're not at the guru stage where everything is bliss. We're still working people. We still have to do certain things. We still live in the city where there's still angry people everywhere you go, right? So the doubt and the fear is a continuous thing for myself as well. And, we do have to just shake ourselves out of it, especially when look what you developed. You went from doubting yourself to launching something and got motivated by somebody else. You know what I mean? So keep that going. You got motivated, motivate somebody else. You know what I mean? You learned something new today, show somebody else. Each one teach one, right? That's the thing. I can't. When I first went on my very first retreat, when I first went on my very first trip by myself, when I've done all of these things that I thought was so great and powerful for me, I came back home passionate, like, yo, you got to do that, try that. And everybody was like, nah, we good. And I was like, right. You know what I mean? Cut to 10 years later, people are like, yo, Kia, I tried da-da-da. And I'm like, good. Like, you know what I mean? You got to give people their space to evolve or learn what they're learning. Because when you find something that you love, that passion just be like,
you just do it, and you do it effortlessly. You really do it. And I want you to kind of like, because we covered a lot. We covered some of your
I don't know
products.
what
We
we
covered.
covered. I just feel
No,
like
no,
I'm
no.
just
I
talking
know
to
what we
you.
covered. I'm paying attention. We covered like mindful meditation products that you have. So I want you to kind of like take us on like a journey that kind of talks about your products. And because what I'm envisioning is like a lot of when I see the promotions that you do, your products are in a home, or they are in like a very peaceful setting. There's some flowers set up behind it, and then you have your products lined up. So I want you to kind of take us on this like journey of how you want us to feel. So you come home, right?
Well, first, let me just say the journey. Shout out to Sunshine Force at Happy Cork, Brooklyn.
Yes, Happy Cork. Oh my gosh, yes.
So the product line basically started because Sunshine with her dope ass self was just like, you smell good. What is that? I'm like, I don't know. It's just some stuff I do right when I meditate, come in here in the morning, blah, blah, blah. And I was burning sage at the shop and she didn't stop me. So it was like, all right, cool. She was like, well, do the things you got to do to get it here. And I was like, what? I don't know what that means. I'm a filmmaker. I don't know anything about entrepreneurship at all.
Mm-hmm.
But to her homage, she was like, no, we're gonna bottle it, we're gonna package it, we're gonna sell it. And I was just like, okay. And my dad is so crazy. He is an entrepreneur his whole life. So it's like I know what that looks like. I felt it, I've been around it. But that still wasn't my call. I'm a filmmaker. Like, this is what I do. This is what I do. But I remember as a kid, always mixing oils, always like trying to burn candles, spraying stuff, and like doing what I thought was meditation as a child. So it's like sometimes we put that aside and then end up finding it again later on in life. So I look at that as a homage to my younger self that always was just like mixing stuff and trying things. And like I remember being one Christmas, I was praying for Martin Luther King. Mommy was like, what is okay? So I don't know what got me here, but I'm here, right? So the sale of that, the products launched at Happy Cork. And the first week it launched, it just sold out.
Wow.
I was like,
and Happy Cork is in Brooklyn. For those of you that don't know,
yes,
I'll put the
Happy
information.
Cork is in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
51 Buffalo Ave. Come get you some wine and spirits, Black owned, female owned. Did I did there?
They got that good Black girl magic wine.
The vibration of the selling out was like, okay, we got something here. But then it was like, what's next? You mean I gotta go back and make more? And I was like, oh, so now it's recipes and it's learning what works, and it's like testing everything on my family and friends, and it's just like having to get this this label, this the budgeting and just all of these things, and get certified and get the LLC, and just it just got, I won't say out of hand, it just fell into the right place. So who am I to deny what the destiny is, right? I was just like, it happened. Now what's next? Not knowing what any of this shit, I'm telling you, not knowing any of this is. I just like going on retreats. I just like meditating. I just like yoga. I just like smelling good. But when I put the intentions into the bottle and I got the testimonies of people saying that like their kid had a stuffy nose and they sprayed Awaken and they was able to breathe, or I took release to my job, this person was getting on my nerve, I sprayed it, they didn't even come in my office anymore. Not saying that those things, intentions are what you put out, right? It ain't really had nothing to do with me. You set the intention when you sprayed it. Okay? So
you're like, I don't want anyone coming in here.
Right. And then boom,
bring in your funky smell. Bring in their funky smell because she done sprayed it and it smells good now.
It smells good now, right? Or the oils. One of my favorite oils and one of the top sellers is Essence. And Essence is a homage to my dad. It's the intentions to that is prosperity and wealth. So a lot of the people laugh about it, but it's a nigga with money. And that's how it sells. So a lot of it is also just fun and just is moments, is intentions. And that's how that journey started. So taking you on a journey with the whispers, right? I love to smell good, and a lot of stuff I do, a lot of grounding and a lot of herbs, and I like to incorporate those. So as I'm making the products, I'm, like I said, on the full moon, on the new moon, I'm setting the intentions, I'm creating the oils. I I do my meditations when I can. I love to go in an in-person yoga class, but right now I'm doing everything virtual with a lot of friends that I have, and I want to post all of them too. I know some amazing yogis. But I still have my shit. Like, I still live in Brooklyn. I still got to get to the job. And I have moments where I find myself having low frequencies. But then I can have a conversation with somebody I never met, and I could get so filled. You know what I mean? Or I could have a retreat, and I don't have to drink any alcohol, partake in any other things, because I'm so high off of the conversation I had or the energy exchange that I just had. See, a lot of people don't realize sometimes we could just go out, like, after this, I'm hyped. I'm up. You know what I mean? And that's the energy of it. I feel like I'm not answering your question, but
no, you are. Do not doubt yourself. We just talked about positive intentions and hyping each other up. So you keep going. You're good.
I'll go off on a tangent. I'm already being like, BLAYNE, meet me at Rockaway Beach on Friday.
I will go. I'm happy to. And Christine is going to come, and anybody else that wants to come is more than welcome to. Because what you're saying is really good, and it's really important. It's funny because you're like, oh, I love to smell good. And I'm just like, you know, as Black people, I feel like we all used to smell like cocoa butter. You know, like everybody would lather on the cocoa butter and Vaseline and stuff. So when you're talking about all these scents and smells, it's like I almost feel like I wasn't really introduced to them until I got older. Because growing up, it was just like you slap some Vaseline on your face, you know, you put your cocoa butter on and you go ahead with it. But, you know, peppermint, lavender, all of that really brings like a certain emotion. It brings a certain like feeling to the surface. So you spray that, you get your mind right. So what I'm picturing for somebody who's interested in buying your products is you figure out how you want to feel. You have a couple different lines. So I like the whole, you know, do with money or whatever it is that you're feeling essence. You get it, you spray it, whether it's on yourself, whether it's in the air, and then you kind of set your intention of like, oh, I just want to relax, or I just want to spray this and I don't want anybody else coming in here. And that's a whole experience that you're creating. And if they want to take it a step further, they can then get into yoga. They can come to you for eating better. They can come to you for a retreat. So it's more than just the products that you have. It's really how you want these products to make people feel and the lifestyle that they can help create in their minds and then bring it into reality. That's what I hear. That's what I don't know.
See what you did there. I love that.
That's how I interpret it.
Yeah, and then have fun. Like, again, don't beat yourself up if you started a cleanse and you didn't finish. You know what I mean? Don't beat yourself up if you had a bad day. Take that deep breath and leave yesterday in yesterday. Because again, I always get the person who says this quote. But when you think about the future, that's when the anxiety comes. When you think about the past, that's the depression, right? So we have to stay grounded in the present. Yesterday happened already. You know what I mean? And a lot of us have to work through that. So again, my products are there to just help on the journey. It's there to take a deep breath. It's there to enhance the area you're in and cleanse the space that you're in. It's good for moments of calming. But then it also smells good. So it's a moment of just walking past somebody and like, damn, you smell good. Because we also, that's also an energy exchange, as well. I have some new stuff coming out. Let me not speak too soon, but again, my favorite yogis again. She just recently had a baby girl, and I have a mommy and me oil that's coming out, and she used it throughout her whole pregnancy. A few of my friends who are pregnant, they used it, and they just found a way to connect with baby. Right? Again, more energy connection of that sort. So again, a lot of my stuff. Thank God for my grandmothers and their recipes, and just me having the energy to be able to talk about it and sell it, and just connect.
And let people know where they can find your products.
Yes. So my products is in 2 places right now. First place is Happy Cork Brooklyn. Again, that is a wine and spirits store on 51 Buffalo Avenue. Ran and owned by Sunshine, who's a Black female. And a lot of the wines and spirits that we have in there. I'm saying a lot now because at first it wasn't. A lot are Black owned brands.
And they can also
Also, I'm at another Black-owned, female-owned thrift store in Brooklyn on Lewis Avenue. It's called Indigo Style. She also has some of my products in there as well. And it's a dope place. Get your stuff fitted. A few of my friends just carry it and sell it because, you know, I have a dope tribe around me as well. So a lot of people, I love that part of the support, right? People are like, oh, I just want to buy it because it's you. But I also want you to embrace it and use it too. Don't just sit on the shelf. And it's okay if you don't. And I appreciate the support. I do. But if you don't use the products, I want to see you on the mat. I want to see you at a retreat. I want to see you at a hike. I want to see you at my favorite vegan restaurants. I just want to be able to be around and talk about stuff other than reality shows. Yep, I said it. I said it.
You're absolutely right. And let people know where they can find you on Instagram. What's Ancestral Whispers Instagram? I'll post it all a little bit later, but for those people that are on here, where can we find you if they want to get more information tonight?
Yeah. Oh, you can also buy my products online. Thank you, Blaine. I have a dope designer, creative director, Curtis, also went to school with. Again, a lot of people I connect with that are entrepreneurs and doing their thing. I've been attending different schools. I was just don't worry about that.
No judgment.
I've learned so many people on the journey, and a lot of people I still connected with, and they're doing their thing. So shout out to Curtis, who did my website. Is dope. It's www.ancestralwhisper.com. My Instagram is ancestral.whisper. I don't have Facebook yet. It's coming. I got to do one thing at a time. So you can find me there. You could also find me at Happy Cork. Some days I'm there, some days I'm not, but the product is. And then, yeah, I have a few talks and retreats that are coming up. So I'm going to just keep posting it and dealing with it there. I got more work to do on myself, so I'm going to do a little self retreat coming up really soon as well. Yeah, man, just hit me up and let's talk. Let's, you know, dig. Oh yeah, I like it.
It's scrolling at the bottom, but for those people that are going to listen on the podcast, I'll have all the information in my IG on my IG feed a little bit later, hopefully tomorrow. And before we end the live,
you can also hire me to host. I just want people to know I can host some events for you as well. But the big retreat 2022 is going to be a big one, and I will definitely give everybody all the information about that as well. But we're going to stay local this year. We're going to stay prayed up. We're going to stay covered. We're going to do that real quick. What you about to say?
No, well, number one, I want to go to a retreat. Christine said sign her up as well. So we'll get some information from you later. But before we end the live, if you have any thank yous or shout outs that you want to give, please go ahead right now.
I'll be on here all day. Like,
well, the main people.
I just know dope people. Like look, like, oh, that's I can't even like, it's people out here doing their thing, like just honoring who they are. The ancestor is you. We are the new ancestors, so let's act accordingly. You know what I mean? The whispers is us. Let's figure that part out. Let's be attuned with our people. Everybody, like, this is really big, and I've learned this on the journey of finding tribe in Hollywood. Like, find your people. I find it very big in the community I'm in now. You know, being at Happy Cork and meeting people who are doing their thing. Like, find your people, find your community, find what works for you. You know, uplift yourself. And I'm saying all of this to say it to myself, because I fell off a little bit because the last year was a lot. But it also was a revitalizing time of, like, truth. It was very honest. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you have to deal. Don't run away from it. I'm a runner. So I'm talking to myself again. If something is bothering you or you have to deal with something, in order to move forward, deal with it. It's going to be hurtful. It's going to be ugly. But the other side of it is going to be worth it. You're not going to go into your 70s, knock on wood, still worried about what you did when you was 20. Okay? Let's work on ourselves now. And that's what I give to the collective. Work on yourselves now. Okay, that's what I'm with it.
I'm with it. No, that is so important. That is so good, and that is so correct. And I want to thank you, Kia, and I want to also, of course, give a shout out to all the people, brands, and businesses that always support me on a weekly basis. And I want to give a very big special thank you, shout out to all of our Bishop Ford alumni, our school that we graduated from. We love our school. Unfortunately, it closed down, but it's amazing to see people like you, people like Christine, other people that are from Bishop Ford that are just, yes, doing their thing.
Christine put me in my first production. Christine put me in my first movie. Yup.
That is what's, Scream. You were in Scream. You were in the Scream movie.
I ran through the whole movie. I ran literally.
That is right. So that's like a side note. If you watch the very, very first IG live that I did with Christine Germain, we talked about this movie that we made in high school, this Scream movie that's available somewhere on YouTube. I think you can find it somewhere on YouTube. And everyone in our class was in this movie, and it was a lot of fun. It was just really, really. She said Scream Queens. It was just a really, really fun time.
Can you give something to the collective? What is your number one self-care thing you do, and what word can you give to the collective?
I'm going to be honest with you. I just had this conversation with somebody recently. I have really been poor when it comes to self-care recently. And I noticed it because I don't know if it's because we're spending more time inside or something, but I used to be really good with taking time with my friends, taking time to just like sit and read a book or do something. But I feel like it's just been like, go, go, go. And I'm missing self-care right now, to be 100% honest. And I was just telling somebody, I need to do something about it. So what I started doing is I get up now, like maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. I know that's early, but 6:15. And I try to take the time.
Hours.
Yeah, it's quiet. It's early, but it's quiet. And I'm finding like from 6:15 till maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock, I just kind of have been taking that time to just to myself. I make some tea. I sit down. I try to look online at stuff that has nothing to do with anything, just anything I want to see online, or I just sit and chill. So that's what I've been doing in terms of self-care. So if I had to sum it up, I would say something that you said, which is like, find your tribe, find your village, because I couldn't do the things that I do if I didn't have the support system that I have. If I had like the people around me that were like, oh, you want to do this? Yeah, you could do this. I have no one around me for the most part who's like, that's stupid. Why would you think that? If anything, I have people around me who make me think even bigger than I've ever thought for myself. So I just want to echo, I guess, and say what you said, which is find your tribe, find your people, because once you find your people in your tribe, they are going to take you to levels that you never thought possible if you have the right people.
The right people. And
You'll find them. Yeah, you'll find them. And it's not for everybody. And just like you said, when you were going on retreats in the beginning, people were kind of like, you doing that? And now they're jumping on it. So you have to find yourself, find your people, and go from there.
What they say, when you build, they will come.
They will.
That's it.
They absolutely will. And I want to thank you so much for being here, and for doing this live. And for anyone who's on here and they missed what I said earlier, you can watch these lives on Real Ish Radio. I was on Instagram strictly only. I've switched over to Real Ish Radio a couple weeks ago. You can watch the lives at Real Ish Radio on YouTube, Facebook. You can download the app. You can go to the website. All the information is in my Instagram page, and it's also at Real Ish Radio's Instagram page as well, for anybody, just to clear that up. So thank you so much, Kia. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to put Kia's information in a post by tomorrow so that you know where to get Ancestral Whisper if you want to go on some retreats, if you want to get your mind right. Kia has all that. You want to talk about movies, you want to talk about film, Kia has all that.
All of it. Let's talk about it. Hit me up, industry filmmakers. Let's do it. Hit me up, yogis. What's up? Let's do it.
I'm going on a retreat. Christine and I are going to go.
Or you know what? Or we could just go with us and just like,
we can go to Happy Cork. And
you go to Happy Cork too. That's
we can go to Happy Cork.
Get your shop on. Get your shop on.
Yes. No, thank you so much, Kia. I appreciate you. Just stay on for a second. We're going to cut out with everyone else. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and I will see you next week.